Hello, hello. I am just brimming with enthusiasm for February. It's a big month for a lot of people. January, getting through the new year and starting your year and whatever that means to you. I wanted to talk about the things that you're desiring most today. And in February, it's a bigger month than January as far as getting things started and really getting into the life that you want to live. And so one of the things that I have experienced as a coach is that when people find like it's got to be a big amount of dissatisfaction, like they're really struggling, that's when they're like, hey, something's got to change, something's got to give, and they start searching their soul. There's nothing more important than people that search their soul. You have to know what you want. You have to know who you are and what you want. And if you don't know, life is trying to teach you, but you may not be paying attention. And I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek because you know stuff's going on. Like, you know that there's some things in your life that you're like, that could be better. Or, oh, that's really awful. Or it's hard stuff, right? But sometimes we go through life with our fists like this. We're like, I want the thing I want, but I'm not open to receiving it. And so, like, life is trying to, like, pry your fingers open. It's like, receive the gift that you're asking for. Please just open your hands because I'm trying to give it to you. And if you're like this, usually the struggle in your life is high, super high. Like, you have a lot of resistance to, because you're focused like on the problem. Like, this thing is driving me crazy. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's the lack of money. Maybe it's the difference you want to make in the world, but it's not happening for you right now. And whatever it is, that's not actually the thing that life is trying to hand you. There is more of a subconscious desire, something in your heart that's like, there's something else for me. And so I wanted to talk about what actually is calling you forward. And so it's not the lack of clients. It's not the 9 to 5. It's not the busyness of your family or the difficult relationship and trying to navigate a family or trying to navigate midlife or trying to navigate anything. Like, it's not the navigation. The navigation is just a symptom. Like, how hard you have to navigate is a symptom of what you really, really want, what your heart is asking for. So I like to call your brain Controlzilla because this is where fear happens, and your brain is designed to keep you safe. So your brain is always looking out, like, what is going to hurt me? What is going to shame me? What's going to embarrass me? What's going to make me feel less? It's looking for the problem all the time. Your heart, your soul, it's not looking for a problem. In fact, it doesn't have a problem. It's like, we know what's best, and we're just not listening. We're not listening. And we're going through life just trying to manage and control, and the stress is rising and the frustration is rising and everything except for rest and relaxation is happening. And so your soul, your spirit, your gut, your guidance system, whatever you want to call it, the thing that makes your body move. And when that's out of your body just hangs there and doesn't do anything because it's dead. Like, that we're talking about the energy in your body. And your spirit knows the way. It knows what it wants. So let me give you some examples. So maybe you're trying to build a business and your head is saying you're going to need more money, more clients, more staff, more of everything in an economy that's probably taken a nosedive in order for you to go home and stay with your family, in order for you to spend more time with your family. So your heart's like, spend more time with your family. That's what you want. And your head is like, okay, so I'm just going to work harder, more hours. I'm going to build my business up. I'm going to get more clients. I'm going to force this thing to happen. And then all of a sudden, everything implodes. You're out of money. You can't make payroll. Your staff goes away, and you're lying there flat on your back looking up going, what just happened? What just happened is the best thing that's ever happened to you. And you've been like, I'm going to hang on. I'm tired. I'm so frustrated. I'm like, but I'm going to market more. I'm going to go. And you're like, you're just going to power through life. And like the universe is like, please open your hand and let me give you the gift you want. You want to be home with your kids? Business is gone. What's the first thing that person's going to do? They're going to go home and be with their family because there is no business left. Like sometimes the worst things that ever happen to us are the best things that could ever happen to us because our real hopes and desires are what come true. We just forget to look at it like that. We forget that that wasn't a business failure. That was an opportunity to grab the gift you've been asking for. So maybe you've been asking for more rest. Your heart is like, please stop. Please take more rest. Please take care of yourself. Please show some love. Please show some respect. And your brain's like, I gotta go harder. I gotta achieve. I gotta get out there. I gotta do the, I'll get up at 3. I'll get up sooner than everybody else. I'll get it all done. I'll build a better mousetrap. I'll do the things. And you're like, because at first, when you start doing that, it feels really good. It's like, I've got a purpose. I've got a drive. And you're just so excited. And ask me how I know about this one. And you're just like, I can do this. I was born for it. And you're on fire, right? And then you start doing it and you start doing it. And then you start caring more about other people's problems than they do. And pretty soon you're like in a place where you're like, I can't keep doing this. Like I suddenly have worked myself out of having a life when I thought this was going to give me a life. And you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're just like, I cannot be this tired anymore. I just can't. And so your business closes. And guess what you get? You get to rest, which is the thing you were asking for in the first place. I would like to be rested. I would like to work smarter, not harder. I would like to just enjoy my life. I would like to go with the flow. I would like to just have some peace. And guess what? Life is going to ask you, or it's going to offer you the thing you've been asking for. So let me give you some other examples. Maybe you grew up in an environment where your parents were like, we're going to teach you what's right. And when you believe us, you'll know. But maybe their version of what's right wasn't necessarily the path you were supposed to take. And so they're trying to do the best they can. And next thing you know, the family dynamic suddenly turns against you. And you're standing there going, what just happened? And how, where's my love? Where's my support? Where's all the people that said our way is the right way? And as long as you're loyal to what we are telling you to do, you'll be okay. And suddenly that family is gone. And you're standing there going, I don't have anything without them. Not true. It's not true, but you think because you were conditioned to believe you didn't have anything without them. And your whole world gets dismantled. All of a sudden, everything you ever knew is gone. And you have to start over, and it feels like death. It feels like massive amounts of depression and anxiety. Nothing makes sense in my world anymore. When that happens, it's because your spirit's like, you've got to develop your own set of beliefs. You need to develop a list of what you govern yourself by. What is best for you in your life? You need to validate yourself. You need to trust who you are. You need to put trust in God's plan for you. And, your whole life, you've been like, oh, no, it's whatever my family says. That's what I'm clinging to. And you didn't spend the time to become an independent thinker. It can rock your world, but the greatest gift that you've been asking for is suddenly yours. I get to go on a self journey to discover what I do believe in and how to talk to my Heavenly Father and know that I am being guided by Him. These are such important lessons, and that person in you has been asking for it, probably for a really, really long time, really long, since childhood. But there was a lot of stories around you saying, no, you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. You'll be sorry if you do that. And these stories get dismantled through life experiences. So maybe you want to feel powerful, but you come from a codependent background where you were unempowered. But now suddenly, like, you get a little confidence and people start to filter out of your life and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm all alone. Like, where did those people go? They couldn't hang because you started to go after the thing that you've been dying for, which is personal power, like holding boundaries, being able to keep unhealthy people, mindsets, influences over there where they belong, so you have the space to get healthy. But it feels lonely. It feels like a lonely journey, and it feels really hard. But if you put your mind on what you continue to want, which is, I'm going to take back my personal power. I'm going to hold some healthy boundaries. I'm going to take care of me for a change. I'm going to get out of this circle, this rat race of trying to please everybody else. And you go forward in your life, new people will show up. Just wait. Just be patient. They're coming. They are coming, and they're going to be part of your life, and they're going to be encouraging and supportive. And you're going to be like, wow, this is new. This is awesome. This was never part of my life before. All right? You might feel like you need a do-over. And guess what? All of a sudden, you'll be compelled to just walk away from your life, or to dismantle all of it. Just say, thank you, no thank you, to a lot of people, a lot of experiences, an old job, all the things, and it'll feel like you're all alone. What's so interesting about each of these experiences is that you do feel like you're all alone. And so I kind of like that mantra that says it's lonely at the top, because this kind of work is not for everybody. But if you're doing this kind of work, you're a leader. You're an initiator. You're one of those people that's living their life because you have to. Like, it has to happen. If it doesn't, you'll die. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. And so you're just going to do it. It's the only thing you know how to do. You're being compelled to do it. You're drawn towards it. You can't avoid it. It's just time to do something about it. And when the universe is telling you, or it dismantles your life, like, I have a really good friend. I'm just going to throw this out there. I have a podcast with this good friend, and it's called Finding Me, because at one point in her life, she was just a badass. She's just like, going at life, just bulldozing her way through life. And she started to have symptoms of, please stop that. When her body was like, please don't do that to me anymore. And she got frozen shoulder, so she couldn't do certain things. And her Achilles were locked up, and she couldn't do more of the certain things and those hardcore things that she was trying to do. And before long, she was just stressing herself out at work, and we were friends at the time. I was like, you've got to rest. And she's like, don't tell me to rest. I got this. And she's just going for it. I was like, okay, don't worry. This is going to come to an end. And you're not going to be able to keep doing this. This is not sustainable. Next thing you know, flat on her back. Just couldn't do it anymore. And so her story is completely transparent because it's on our podcast. She's like, all right, my life has imploded. I'm on my back, under the covers. I think I'm dying. I don't know what's wrong. I've lost me, and I don't know what to do about it. I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to you. And she's like, don't talk to me like that. I was like, no. I'm not making fun of you. I am telling you, this is the thing you've been asking for your whole life. And it's time. It's time to get out from underneath the covers and go take care of yourself. Let's go heal. Let's go sort this out, sift and sort. And so she's like, okay, so why don't we do it live coaching? I was like, you are brave. Good for you. And so we live coach, and we do this together on our Finding Me podcast. And the thing that's come from it is she was asking for balance in her life. Her heart was like, you gotta find some balance. You're so all in all the time. because you think that's what brings you value. And we can't hold on to that with you. And she loves it now. Like, she's finding balance. Like, she's like, okay, all right. I was harder on myself than I needed to be. I was making life hard. I was doing hard things because I really believed in it. And now I'm like, oh, I don't want to do hard things anymore. I want to find some ease and some flow in my life. And so we talk about it often on our podcast. And it's never the thing you think it is. The thing that it's calling you forward and that you're resisting, like, it's not happening for you easily. It's just not coming to you. That's when you're like, what is that? Why am I struggling and striving? It's the striving and surviving paradox. You know, like, we're striving to be valued in the world, but it's survival, not thrival. Like, here's just trying to survive another day, and you go to bed dog tired and you wake up unrested and you just like gotta hit the pavement again, and it's just not working for you. You have to take that all the way back down and ask yourself, what is it that I'm really after? Because it's who you become on the journey. It is not what you do, it's who you become. And when you become somebody that's just living it, it's fun, it's creative, it's interesting, it's enthusiastic, it's like, and you're just moving in this direction of, that feels like I'm breathing again. It feels like I'm alive again. When you're doing that, it's so good. It's so good because you're just, it's the thing that you wanted most. It's so interesting because a lot of times when we're going through life and we have like failures, and you know, whether it's a relationship or a business or a career or raising the children or just your body goes to pot or whatever it is, we carry a lot of shame about it. We're like, ugh, I hate standing next to those people that have my picture taken, or oh man, I could have done that if I just, but no, I'm not going to. Like, all of that, please, here's the thing I want to say. Do not let shame stop you from dismantling this hard work that you're doing and letting go of the struggle. There's something else your soul, your spirit was meant to do on this earth plane. You are here to make a difference in the world, and the highest needs of the spirit are growth and contribution. And if you're not growing, you're dying. And if you're not contributing, it feels pointless. If you're in your comfort zone and it's just old news, you just feel stuck. You're like, there's something else, something other than this. You're not wrong. You never are wrong. Like, the things that you know you want, you're not wrong. But it is not in the doing of those things. It is in the becoming of who you are. Sometimes we feel powerless. We feel powerless to change our situation. And if that's the case, first of all, it's not a true story. You always have power over what you choose to do. You have free agency, and we happen to live in a free country. So you do have power. But we just think that our power lies in what other people think of us and their judgment of us. And so sometimes we don't get help. Sometimes we don't, find the support that we need. Sometimes we don't change because we don't know where to start. But I'm just asking you to consider setting shame aside. Maybe it's ego. Maybe it's vanity. Maybe it's embarrassment. Whatever the most accessible negative emotion is for you, could be grief, could be loss, could be anger, could be hate, could be rage. Whatever the most accessible negative emotion is for you, that is the degree to which your soul is like, that's not who you are. You're not here for that stuff. You're here for the good stuff. You're here for the ease and the peace, the fun and the exploration, the adventures and the creativity of moving forward. So please consider moving forward. And this big thing that you fear is going to happen, maybe it will. And maybe it will be the best thing that's ever happened to you. Because when your greatest fears come true, it dismantles you quickly. And you receive the thing you really have been asking for this whole time from inside. You just didn't know that was the thing that you needed most. But watch for it, because it's in there and it's dying to come out. And sometimes when your life just completely burns to the ground, that's the only thing left, is the thing that you wanted most. And you're just like opening up your tight little fingers and receiving the gift that you've been asking for. So I also need to tell you that I am opening up a mentorship. It's called Amplify. Because if you amplify your gifts and you identify who you are and what you want, then everything else becomes more clear. You start to really become the person that makes you go, dang, I love being me. I looked in the mirror years ago and I was like, I don't think so. That's not something I'll ever say to myself. And when you can look in the mirror and go, you know what? You are my favorite person. I cannot be more grateful for being who I am. When you say that to you about you, life is so good. It's so good. And you're not here to struggle. You're just not. You're not here to do hard things. You're not here to struggle. You're not here to suffer. You're not here to just barely breathe, to be depressed, to be anxious. You're not here to do those things. You're here to dismantle those things. And sometimes it's the things in our lives that we've attached ourselves to as the safe thing in our life. When that implodes, best thing that's ever happened to you. And so in this mentorship, because we need support, we need a safe and supportive place to talk about these things. Man, if I had this when I was like riding the struggle bus, I would have jumped on so fast. Because you start to pay attention. You start to go, oh, because we learn from each other, number one. And when you hear somebody else struggling, you're like, oh my gosh, it feels so good not to be alone in my struggle. And when you also hear somebody else struggle, you're like, oh, I see myself in what they're learning. And now I can learn. So there's passive learning. There's present learning. You're learning about you. You're getting the coaching, the support you need. You're learning about them and not just about them, but what's happening in their life is like applicable in your life always. And you're like, wow, okay, now I'm getting like the double support that I need. I can see myself more clearly. The hardest person for you to see is you. Guaranteed. So when you can see yourself clearly, you can make those changes easily. And when you start to make those changes, and I'm not saying, when I say easily, I'm not saying fast. It took how long to get here? So it's not going to be anything less than a year for you to get back out of it and to do something different and to exit the roundabout and go on your path that you were meant to travel. Like, it takes time to take some of these abstract ideas that you're like, I don't know what that means, but to have someone explain it to you and for you to have all the time you need to process it and practice it. Game changer. But you need the hand holding. Like I have had so many people tell me, now I am not dogging therapists, but I've had so many people tell me that they could only afford to go once a week. And when you go once a week, then the other 6 days you're like, I don't know, is it working? How about now? And there's a lot of ambiguity. You're just like guessing. It's like, I don't know, am I applying the things that we talked about? Some things really hit home and they're easy to move, but in a group, a support group where you can always ask a question, you can always get some clarity, you can always get the support that you need. It's an everyday, 7 days a week kind of group. Yeah. Major things happen. The needle moves and it moves quickly comparatively to how long it took you to get unhappy. It moves very quickly in a year's time. And a year is coming one way or another. So you can show up a completely different person 365 days later, you are 365% better. So I invite you, if you want to know more, just DM me. I am a one-on-one kind of person. I am a starfish person. It's like, you can't save all the starfish. It's like, well, I saved that one. Do you know that story? Anyway, I love the one-on-one conversations, talking about you. I guarantee if you are like, there's something she said that I need to know more about, I guarantee that we have something really strong in common. That whatever I have had to overcome and go through, you'll be able to relate to, vice versa. Whatever you're going through, I can definitely relate to it, and I've done it. If I haven't done it, I wouldn't ask you to do it. So anyway, DM me if you want more information about the Amplify mentorship, where you learn and grow, and nothing is so serious. Like, we don't pick at the scabs. We use our sense of humor, and we use the logic that comes from here. Like, you have the answers to the test. You just need someone to help you bring those forward so you can hear them more clearly. So I don't want you to do what I've done, but I will definitely coach you what you're here to do. So hit me up if you want to know more. Nice talking with you. Talk to you later.